Well, hey, Foothill Church. It's Saturday, the day before Easter, and I just want to bring you this word of encouragement. In Luke chapter 23, we get the burial of Jesus when it says that he was buried in Joseph's tomb. But there's something really telling at the end of Luke 23. In verse 56, it says, it was the Sabbath, and it says that on the Sabbath they rested according to the commandment. So here we are sitting in this day of waiting. And in a Jewish calendar, this would be the Sabbath day that we're resting. I think it's probably too much to say, to suggest that the disciples were restful in their hearts. They were grieving. They were grieving in the sense that they knew they had lost their Savior. And didn't know what to make of that. Remember, this had never happened in human history before, where there would be somebody who would rise from the dead, unlike Lazarus, never to die again. And so they couldn't fathom that it would be anything less than Jesus was dead and they would never see him again. But it's interesting that God, through inspiration, inspired Luke to say, it was the Sabbath, and they rested according to the commandment. That is, that it was God's command that even on this day, in eternity past, when God was thinking about how he'd create the world, and when God created the Sabbath and made it holy and all that, he knew that this would be the day of waiting. This would be the day in his eternal plan when people would be waiting, and he would command them to rest, to not be anxious. So here we are on the other side of the resurrection. We know how the story ends, and we're going to celebrate that tomorrow. But today's a day that in the midst of the turmoil of our lives, right, we look and we know that what God says is that it's the Sabbath, and they rest according to his command. God says, I want you to rest because I want you to know I'm in charge. I want you to know everything is under control. I want you to know you have nothing to fear. I want you to know that you're going to get through this. And so here we are on waiting day. Here we are on the day when we can't wait until the morning of resurrection, and we're commanded to rest. So man, I want to encourage you today that today would be a day that in light of what we know about the resurrection, we'd rest. We'd rest from our worries about the coronavirus. We'd rest from our worries about the economy. We'd rest about what this means for our job, knowing that on the other side of this, God's going to see us through. He really is. I'm confident of that. I don't know when, but I'm confident he's going to. I love you guys. Man, invite your friends and family. Tomorrow, of course, is Easter. We're going to have our services at 9, 10, 11. And then we're also going to do one at 8 o'clock tomorrow night for our kind of young families that want to be able to put their kids to bed, or maybe kind of watch their service and disciple them in the morning. And I would encourage you to do that. If you're a young family, that you would take the time, watch that with your kids, even spend the time and do some family discipleship in that moment. What a wonderful opportunity we've been presented with. I love you guys. I'm praying for you, and I can't wait when we all get to celebrate that Jesus is risen from the dead tomorrow. Have a happy waiting day. Remember, rest, and let's celebrate tomorrow. Love you guys.